Reaching the Bukoto junction traffic lights via the old Kira Road. And to join this part of town, now we are on to the new Kira Road. This road basically now brings you here at the traffic lights at Bukoto, which function very well. On the left are these lights. You can continue on to Kisasi and on to that part of town. In the foreground you can see the upcoming hotel and conference center. That is more of an extension of Kabira Country Club. This is usually a very busy intersection, and vehicles tend to clog up all the way to the traffic lights at the police station at Kira, but it is highly automated, and we have traffic wardens manning this junction at all times. This is Kabira Country Club, very famous, and the extension is up there. It's changing the skyline of this place. On the right, that hill is Naguru Hill, very famous for more of luxurious apartments and lush living places, and a number of upcoming condominiums scattered in that area. With this road here, it now narrows back into a two-way single lane on each side. They were not able to work on it during the improvements on the other section of the road. But nonetheless, the road is fairly motorable, and there are no special issues. They continue to patch up potholes here and there from time to time. As you can see, some have been square cut to prepare them for refilling and for resurfacing. But the road is generally motorable. It leads you up to Ntinda, and then of course from Ntinda you can still access Kisasi at the junction in Ntinda, or you can access Chiwatule if you proceed through the junction at Ntinda, or if you take the right and go via the recently revamped stretcher road, then you can go and access several other parts, even including connecting you back to Jinja road. In a way, this road is more or less an internal ring road connecting Ntinda back to Jinja road, back to Kampala road, and can come all the way up to Wandegeya, come back to Kamocha, and bring you back to Bukoto. So there's the taxis that you see that trek this route to Jinja, Bukoto, Kamocha, Kampala road, Jinja road, and so on. So you can be assured that they do that round trip often, but you have to be specific on what taxis you take. So like most of our roads, traffic is both border borders and these motorcycles, and then of course other passenger vehicles. I can see there is a strong presence of traffic policemen. I think they're looking out for, of course, motorists with expired driving permits, without motor third party, and so on. Ntinda is a very vibrant place, very close to town, perhaps one of the closest areas to Kampala. This road can get very jammed up in the morning if you're coming to work or heading out from town back into the residential places of Chiwatule, Nalia, Jambogo, and Ntinda itself, or even up to Kisasi. This is perhaps one road to avoid, as it is heavily trafficked and it's still under poor conditions. This section of the road was unsurfaced, but they are yet to replace the layer. Ideally, this road is up for refurbishment to create it or to make it a 2-lane on both sides, but those arrangements are yet to be initiated or to commence. In a way, it would connect now where we are looking at the upcoming junction to the stretcher and connect eventually to Jinja Road, or like I mentioned, if you go through, you now connect to the northern bypass at Nalia Junction. So this is the heart of Ntinda, with this town here, with this intersection. And I mentioned that on the left you continue to go to Kisasi. If you go through, then you're going to Kiwatule and other parts of Nalia and so on, or to Nigeria and so on. But importantly here, where we are going to do is we want to go over the recently resurfaced stretcher road. The stretcher road we are going to go through is a very strong improvement, or good improvement in this part of town, with 2 lanes on both sides, and also with the traffic control along the entire section. So it is what is expected to be done for this other section from this junction up to all the way up to Bukoto, where it will join an equally existing good road, which is the dual carriage on both sides. This is in Ntinda. You can find everything that you want here. These are some of the suburbs that are making sure that people no longer have to trek all the way from the neighboring villages to go to town to look for shopping centers and so on. You can find banks here, health services, restaurants, and everything basically. On the left too, I mentioned that you can connect to Kisasi and proceed to go over the flyover at Northern Bypass onto Sasi, Lindo, and all those other parts of Kira from there. But before they improve this section, you must remember that there were no traffic lights here previously, and it used to be a nightmare. So from time to time, we certainly welcome these improvements, because they add value to traffic flow within the city, and that is what makes us comfortable living here. So this is where the Ntinda stretcher road starts from, still within the heart of Ntinda. You can see it is smooth. There's all the road furniture is there, the road signs, the no U-turns and everything, the crossing points, which is basically what we are struggling for as a bare minimum. And I always repeat this thing, at least all these roads that I don't know whether I should call them major roads, should be at least dual lane, be able to carry at least 2 vehicles in one direction. And this is what we aspire for. On the left here, we are approaching the famous capital shoppers along this road. I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, it's one of the biggest capital shoppers in the country, and another shopping mall. This is what I was saying, that you don't need to leave to go to town to access some of these services. Now we are approaching a junction that branches into Jambogo and those other neighboring villages of Ntinda. And here you start having a feel of the traffic control via these lights. And on the left you can continue to Ntinda, Minister's Village, and so on. So the road is very okay, still new, still under the efforts of city authority here in Kampala. We really appreciate these new improvements. They make us feel really happy about the city that we love. This is the stretcher, very smooth, no issues whatsoever. Of course, the traffic volumes will overwhelm you and so on. This junction we've just passed connects you back to Ntinda town, and also on the left it takes you to Wangsang, to parts of Chambogo University, to again to back to Jinja Road. Still here you can access other parts of Naguru on your right, you can access other parts of Jinja Road and so on, but we want to go through here. It's more of a hub for these larger vehicles, the trailers, as you can see, those behind me and those ahead. They tend to park on the road, as we might find, and end up using one of the lanes for this for part of this road, especially from this section of the road. But on the right, I mentioned you can continue to Naguru section, go up to Skies, and access other parts of town. There's great connectivity basically that is provided by this area. As usual, you notice our cameras overhead taking note of at least identities. They're able to take a picture of the driver, the car plate, and so on. In the foreground, you can see the URA towers, and these are some of the trailers I was talking about. At least here they have left room for more than 2 vehicles, but they tend to park up here. That building in the foreground changed the skyline here in the Nakawa, because now we are approaching the Spears Junction in Nakawa, and also improved section of the road. For today, our trip is going to stop here, basically to bring you up to here to Spears, to show you the improvements that have been done here. I really thank you for watching. There are no lights here, so you just have to navigate carefully and safely through here. This is the expanded Spears Junction, which is now connecting onto Jinja Road. But do have a good day, a good night, a good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching from, and stay blessed. Subscribe, share, and let's popularize our city. Let's love it, and you take care. Bye bye.